How's it going, everybody? This is S3Tide coming at you with the Week 8 college football recap video. And as you see on the screen, you have the USA Today poll on the left and the ESPN.com power rankings on the right. If you watch my Week 9 prediction video, which I'm about to do, you'll see the BCS rankings and the AP poll if you haven't seen them already, which chances are you probably already have. But I didn't get to watch them. I mean, I watched a lot of football, but not as much as usual, because I had the ACT in the morning, then I went to a bunch of spook trails in the afternoon, so I'm not going to... I know most about the games, but I'll try my best. So here we go. We're going to jump right into it. The Thursday night game, interesting game, UAB and UCF. People predicted UCF to go undefeated this year or had the possibility to do so. They have like 2 losses or 3 losses. They lost to UAB 26-24. This is UAB's first one of the season. That's kind of strange coming over a team, the win over a UCF team, which I said was predicted to go undefeated by a bunch of people. And this was in front of a crowd of like 5,000 at Legion Field at UAB, so it's a good win for the program. They never had a good program up there at UAB. They get like 5,000 fans a game. My prediction for the program is whenever they get their own on-campus stadium, which I think got approved a few weeks ago, they should start building a little bit more hype going into the program. More students will come to the game as the stadium will be on campus, and who knows, we can go from there. Arizona 48, UCLA 12. Arizona just demolished UCLA right before the halftime. I'm not sure if y'all saw that fight where the guy ran out like a referee and then he stripped down to his underwear. UCLA players just got in a fight because they were all aggravated because they were getting pounded. They're just absolutely terrible this year. Rick Nusenheil is probably going to get suspended. I mean, not suspended, fired. By UCLA after the end of the season. I'm pretty sure their athletic director said they're not going to have any changes until the end of the season. So, yeah, that's that. Arizona lost 48. I mean, Arizona won 48-12. Sorry about that. Syracuse 49, number 15, West Virginia 23. This came as a huge surprise to the college football world. West Virginia, as I said, was ranked 15 at the time. Syracuse is a little bit better than they've been in the past few years, but nobody expected this. Game was in the Carrier Dome of Syracuse, and apparently they just blew out West Virginia. This I thought was going to put Alabama above LSU in the in the BCS bowl. I mean the BCS polls, my bad, because this greatly diminished LSU's strength of schedule because they beat West Virginia, and that was one of their key wins in their schedule up to date. But it didn't happen. I'm glad they're number 1 going into the game, not Alabama. So Alabama won't have that many distractions going into the game. So that is that. Now after that, moving on to the Saturday games, we have Oklahoma State 45, Missouri 24. Nobody really expected Oklahoma to go in there and hold James Franklin of Missouri to 24 points. They did so. They beat them by 19, 45-24. Oklahoma controls their destiny. Oklahoma State controls their destiny as of right now. Clemson 59, North Carolina 38. Sammy Watkins and Taj Boyd had a great game. Clemson could have scored a lot more, but they went down to the second string. So, and North Carolina just had a lot of turnovers that led to scoring drives by Clemson. And one of Clemson's players had a fumble return for a touchdown and a interception return for a touchdown. So that was a pretty good, memorable game for him. Kansas State 59, Kansas 21. Kansas State as well controls their own destiny. They play Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, and if they win those 2 games, they'd be right up there in the national championship contention. Now, if they beat Oklahoma State and lose to Oklahoma, all that will even itself out, and either Clemson or Boise State will go to the national championship game. And if they both lose, the rematcher, the LSU and Alabama loser will go in a rematch in the national championship game. So that will be really interesting to see how that pans out. Moving on, upset, Purdue won 21-14. Not too much to say other than Illinois was probably one of the most overrated 6-0 teams ever in college football. Sad to say, my upset didn't come true. Kentucky 38, Jacksonville State 14. They kind of, going into the 4th quarter, it was kind of close. It was like 24-14, but Kentucky came out with the victory, so they didn't get completely blown out. Arkansas 29, Ole Miss 24. Arkansas was losing 17-0. Then they came roaring back in the second half. They scored that'd be 22 points. Ole Miss is 7 in the second half. So ups to props to Arkansas for coming back. every team has their down year. Down game every once a year or so, but they came out with the victory, so good for them. Wake Forest 24, Duke 23. Wake Forest had to come back and beat Duke. They had to kick a field goal. They had to score a touchdown very late to win that game. Let's see, LSU 45, Auburn 20. Clint Mosley couldn't get anything going, but I'm sure Barrett Trotter couldn't do any better. Probably would have done worse. I'm a fan of Clint Mosley, even though I'm an Alabama fan. I hate Auburn, but I'm a fan of Clint Mosley. Came from a school a little bit up north of me, a small school. He probably could have gone anywhere. A good fit for him. He was coming out of high school as Todd Reesing was leaving high school at leaving Kansas. And I thought he would have been a good fit in the Kansas, but he didn't go there. Now he's going to start for Auburn. So, he's getting his chance. Hopefully he'll do well. But LSU won 45-10. I cannot wait to the LSU-Alabama game. I'm going to be there and going to crap myself. And hopefully we'll come out with the Alabama victory. Boise State 37, Air Force 26 has kind of hurt them in the computers because they played Air Force very close down to the end. They were winning by like a touchdown with like 4 minutes left, but then they went back and scored, so they played them pretty close. Moving on, we have another upset, Miami 24, Georgia Tech 7. Quarterback Washington didn't get much going, so that's that. Florida State 41, Maryland 16. Disappointing this game out because this is Florida State's real significant win over the their first significant win. They beat Duke last week, who was their first FBS win of the year. But Maryland's a sketchy team, and they can bite you in the butt at any time, and they can lie to sleep at any time. In this game, they lied to sleep. Florida State won 41-16. Just want to put this game out for a second. Bowling Green 13, Temple 10. Like I said, just mentioning Maryland. Temple beat Maryland like 8 million to nothing or to 7 or whatever, and now they're losing games in their schedule, which kind of surprises me. But I guess they're just one of those same teams like Maryland is. You can't look down on them, but they can lie you to sleep or they can bite you in the butt. Moving on. My Houston Cougars, who I've been high on, I predicted them to go to the Sugar Bowl. They keep on rolling, so undefeated, number 17 in the country, I think, 17 or 18. They beat Marshall 63-28. They can basically control their own destiny, and over the next 4 or 5 weeks, they can move up there. They have to get to 14 to qualify for a BCS Bowl, and hopefully they'll do so. Alabama 37, Tennessee 6. The tie game going into halftime had me scared to death, but they came back running in the second half, as they've been doing basically the whole year. Apparently Alabama has one of the best halftime adjustments, and their coaches make the best halftime adjustments, and came back and scored 21 unanswered in the second half of the game and won 37-6. Roll Tide. Oh yeah, Texas Tech 41, Oklahoma 38. Texas Tech was actually winning by 17, I believe. Sorry, I have like a cold type thingy apparently. But Oklahoma came roaring back in the fourth quarter, came to a field goal, didn't get it. Texas Tech won 41-38. Big time win for Tommy Tuberville and his Red Raiders. They're a pretty good team right now, and next year they will be up there, up in the top 15, top 10 in the country, if not higher, maybe contending for a national championship, because the whole entire team comes back. 9 starters return on offense, 9 starters return on defense. A lot of the second deep comes back, so that's a good thing for Texas Tech, and look out for them next year, especially. They're a pretty good team this year. Beat Oklahoma. And 2 more games to cover. Michigan State 37, Wisconsin 31. This game came down to the final play as Kirk Cousins of Michigan State threw that Hail Mary pass. Originally called down in the 1-yard line, and reviewed it, and they said it was a touchdown. They won 37-31. This kills Wisconsin's national championship hopes, as they lost 37-31. Russell Wilson tried his best, but they came back. They were losing by a lot in the second half, and Russell Wilson came roaring back, but they lost 37-31 on the final play Hail Mary. Actually, 2 more games to cover. Stanford 65, Washington 21. A bunch of people had question marks over Stanford playing their first ranked opponent. They handled them pretty well. They had a bunch of rushing yards. It was 200, 300, 400, something like that. And they basically contained Kevin Polk of Washington, who's a great freshman quarterback coming in after Jake Locker leaving as a senior last year. So watch out for Washington in the next few years because they have a dangerous freshman quarterback, like I just said, Kevin Polk. But same for 165, 221, and they control their own destiny from here. If they can beat Oregon and USC coming up next week, they'll be right up there with Oklahoma State trying to get the national championship, and Clemson and Boise State. It's all a mess. One game, the last game I want to talk about just a little bit, Southern Miss is 6-1. The reason they played Southern SMU, who's a really good team, and June Jones hasn't playing great, probably the best they've been playing since the death penalty they had in like 80, whatever it was, 88, whatever. I'm not sure when it was. But they're 6-1 right now. They're ranked 25 in the AP poll. Their only loss in the year is to Marshall, which was bullcrap. They beat Virginia, I believe it was. It was a BCS team, so they're a really good team. They probably could go 10-1 looking at their schedule. Their toughest opponent's probably UCF, who lost to UAB, but UCF is still a really good team. Don't look down on them. Well, they're sitting at 6-1 right now. Who knows how it can go from there, just going up in the polls. So, guys, I guess that is it. I'm going to do the prediction video for Week 9 after this, and I will see you guys later. Roll Tide.